When I say, do I think that I have failed my oldest son in some ways? Yes, I do. I feel like I never prepared him properly. As parents, we are those people who try so hard to give our kids everything. Me being an addict, for most of, not most, but a lot of my oldest son's life, I always felt like I had to make something up to him. I was never a nurturer. The needs of kids, the touching, I'm not real good at that. I've never been much of that. Probably should have never had kids. I'm just being honest. But when I say you give too much, you really do. You give so much and so much of all this shit. Like, they have so much shit. We as people have so much shit. I look around at people and I had it. You get it? I had it. I had all the shit in the world, man. None of it made me happy. Okay? Now, I cannot say that I'm still happy with less. But what I will tell you is this. While we give our children so much without teaching them anything, and I mean anything, they get to an age where you look at them and you think to yourself, I made that. Am I proud of that? Can't say that I am. My son walks around with, you owe me attitude. Now, I don't owe him shit. Do you understand me? As a parent, one of our hardest lessons is to let our children go. I know this because my father did it to me. And it was the only way to show me. And you don't learn your lesson till years later. Isn't that funny? Years fucking later. And as parents, I think that we know that. We know that it's going to take years before they understand what we did for them until they have kids. And I don't know what I did wrong. It's like, was I not? I don't know, man. I just don't know. I really don't fucking know. And finding myself and knowing what I endured, I tell my children, and everybody wants the best for their kids. We all do. But then when you look at them and you're just like, man, you're going to have to make me fucking teach you? And see, my kids are good kids, man. They're real good fucking kids. Not to me, but outside in society they are, which, we all want for that. And I'm not saying that my son had it easy, but in reality he did, my mom and dad were always there for him, and I was always, I'm not saying I was a beater. I don't do no shit like that, man. My kid had so much stuff, he didn't even know what to do with all that stuff. And maybe that's the problem. That is the problem. We raise our kids to be so fucking material driven and they're, oh man, that fucking thing with my truck, man. Maybe that was my own fucking fault, And yeah, it doesn't help that his biological father is it's not in his life, gives excuses. Now this dude's got he's got 3 other kids now. I think he had his first one 6 years ago. And my son's 17. And never once, except for when he got in trouble, I told him I'd never take child support out on this son of a bitch, right? And then I think when Bo was like 8 or 9, I did. I told him I would never take child support as long as he was in his life. Well, he was never in his life. He never cared. I know I sent pictures, and basically he hadn't seen him since we had left Fort Lauderdale when Bo was like 8 or 9 months old. And he called me because they were after him for child support. And I remember we were at the Norfolk Zoo, and I said, do you want to talk to your son? I hadn't talked to him in so long, man. I think it was like 6 or 7 years. And he was like, no, I want to know if you can get me out of this trouble. And I told him, no. You don't want to talk to your son? Fuck no, I can't get you out of trouble. That's when I realized. And, you know, I tell my son, keep his pictures, don't throw them away. Look, one day you're going to want to meet him. You know, life is hard. You know, I speak good about his father. I tell him, you know, we were kids, and, you know, he basically went from his parents to the military, and he didn't know how to be a man. And I made excuses for him and said when he was there, he was a good dad, which he was. But when my son was ready to meet him, Lars couldn't step up to the plate. I know that hurt my son. And then, of course, when we came back, the only father that he knew got mad at me and looked at him and said, you're not my son, and take your fucking worthless cunt-ass mother out of here. Well, I think that hurt my son more than anything could say. And my husband knows this. And has been trying to make up to him. But in the process of making up to my son, he's not teaching him anything. Now, he's 17, almost 18 years old. The boy's never cut grass. I think for once, for like 10 minutes when he was like 13. He doesn't take the trash out. He doesn't, nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, you'll be 18 in August, dude. 18. 18 and you can't do shit. Nothing. And this is bothering me to a point where I'm terrified for my kid, man. You know, when we were younger, we didn't have a choice but to do what we were told to do. Because we would get our ass kicked, basically. And I went to work full-time at 15 because I decided I didn't want to go to high school. And, you know, things were a lot different back then. But I hear him how he runs his mouth and slams my doors. And, you know, I'm not one of them moms, like I've said before, one of those fucking overachiever moms and you bring straight, you know, no. I want my kid to be a good kid, and I really thought I knew my son. I don't know. He took on a different identity when we moved here. And so much so that I don't like the person he's become. I don't like the people he hangs out with. I just don't know who he is. I didn't raise my son like that. You know, I really said when we have a different generation, we could make this next generation be better. Well, I raised my son, no color, no gender, no anything was ever looked at. It was a person's soul. And I raised him that since a young age. And I mean, I don't ever remember raising him different. And he did good up until recently. And, you know, I know that where I am in life and where he is two different places. And I remember being angry all the time. And like I said, rageful. And, man, I know about all this, right? I know all of this, dude. Like, there's nothing in this life that you can do that I haven't done. So, I got to step away, man, from parenting, from everything with this kid. I'm at a loss. And I don't know if my parents went through that with me. The Lord knows, I started at like 11 years old and I didn't fucking stop giving them hell. But, I don't know, man. You know, you want to be a good parent. You do. You want to know you left a legacy behind, that your spirit was carried into them, that you did good. And when you look at your children, they're a reflection of you. When I say that is, more parents need to realize that. And my kid don't do drugs, and he doesn't run the streets, but I'm questioning his character. And a person's character is everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. It is everything. A person's character defines you 100% of the way. I don't give a shit about how much money you make. I don't give two shits who you're fucking, what you're doing. But your character is everything in my eyes. And that will reflect on who you're fucking and how hard you work and how much money you make. Let me stop. But with this said, and damn, 12 minutes of recording on that shit. Okay. But with this said, and I think us parents all faced this at one time. So thank you to his biological father, who, as a man, you couldn't stand up and be who I needed you to be for one time when I asked you to do it. I applaud you, Lars. I do. You son of a bitch. And it's not your fault. This isn't. I don't put this on you. Because, hey, you were absent. It ain't like he knew who you was and what he missed you for. So he can blame that. Like, I try to put that blame on gay or whatever. But she wasn't around. It wasn't her fault I turned out the way I did. But there is a longing in him. I know this to be true. But he's got to learn for himself. So all I can tell him is good luck. And I really hope you learn faster than I did, kid. You get what I mean? It took me a long time. And I hope it doesn't take you that long. Maybe if us parents showed our children, maybe just don't, I don't know, man. I don't even know where I went. I keep fumbling, and I'm not going to take the blame all myself. That's bullshit. I'm not. Punk ass little motherfucking kid. I'm just saying. I'm not going to take the blame by myself. So, another trudge and lesson is all I'm trying to tell you. And other than that, I just am rambling. Peace out.